Yo, welcome back for Danganronpa another. So last time I stopped right before the trial, and I was looking at all of this, and I was trying to come up with theories, and I had some stuff figured out, but a lot of things still didn't make any sense to me. And I said I'll come up with something for continuing. Unfortunately, I have to admit I think I'm kind of owned. I have figured out some things. I'll just explain what I've thought about since last time. Okay. I've thought a lot about the dying message. Where is it? This. Okay, I have three possibilities in my mind. Number one is Kizuna left it and it represents the people who found her body. The people who were trying to quell the flames. So that was Kinjo, hang on, I had this written down somewhere. Kinjo, Ayame, Makaru, Kinjo, Ayame, Makaru, and Kinji. So those were the four. And if that's what it represents, I think the big X represents Uehara, the priest. Let me explain. Okay, so when they were quelling the flames, it said I read back what Kinzo said last time. So he said, me, Ayame, and Makaru went in and found the body, and then the body discovery announcement played. Before doing that, I told Uehara to go in the back and check the window. So that means the body discovery announcement played when Kinjo, Ayame, and Makaru found the body. So if this follows the same rules as all the other Danganronpa games, if it follows the same rule about the BDA, then that means those three cannot be the culprit. So that makes me sus of Uehara. Also, maybe this is just stupid, but Uehara is by far the tallest of all the four, so it would make sense if that's what the big X is trying to communicate. Okay, now reasons why this seems stupid. I feel like there's no way Kizuna was still alive at that time, right? She was already dead by that point when the fire was going on. Like she wouldn't be able to know who is in, like, who's in the group. Also, if you're still alive, you can just write the guy's name. You don't have to do this weird puzzle. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing, this could refer to flashlights. So if you recall, we have two broken flashlights, we have one burned flashlight, and we have the flashlight that Mikaru had, like when we found the body. It says she came with the flashlight herself. So, one of the pieces of evidences I've had a lot of trouble figuring out is this, the broken flashlights. I have a real hard time figuring out how this connects to anything, really. The only thing I can think of is that somehow someone hid their secret message, their secret, inside one of the flashlights. And I think that's why two flashlights were broken. That was because the culprit wanted to see if those were the ones with the message in them. And that would explain the wire trap. Though I'll expand on this further. So if this is what it means, it could be saying, like, hey, there's four flashlights, but one of them has something in it. That's a weird way to communicate that, but that's something I thought of. And if so, then it would be, it's either the one Makaru's holding or it's the burnt one, because those are the one that we haven't checked inside. I don't know how you put a note inside a flashlight. I don't know if it unscrews easily, but whatever. So that's the second theory. The third theory is that this is something the culprit left, and it has something to do with their plan. This seems the most unlikely to me, but maybe they like used it as a mark to like drop something on it, because obviously when you think of X, you think of, like, you know, X marks a spot, like it's a target. So I don't know if something was falling from above, like something was attached to the wire, the burnt fuse line, and something was falling and he was trying to like calculate where it would fall, and for some reason the culprit used blood to do that. That's just something that came to my mind, but I don't think that's it. To me, I think the most likely one is the flashlight one. That's the only way I've been able to reconcile the broken flashlights. That's the only way to make sense to me. Now, that makes you wonder, so the wire trap, what's the deal with the wire trap then? To me, that indicates that the wire trap was a trap set up to catch the culprit. As in, look, here's the flashlight that you want, that you really don't want people to see what's inside. You can get it, and whoever falls for the trap is the culprit. Now, I think that's kind of silly, because everyone is investigating a murder. I don't think it's pretty reasonable that they would just, like, if there's something on the ground that looks really suspicious, anyone would just walk into it. So is the culprit stupid and the Tano is just like a victim? Or is the Tano really the culprit and she really did fall for someone's trap? If the Tano is the culprit, then the body discovery announcement doesn't make sense. Now, to be fair, in the beginning, when I first started playing this game, it did say that things were going to be maybe different from canon. So honestly, I don't even know if the body discovery announcement rule is the same as usual. I probably shouldn't even assume it works the same because it hasn't been mentioned at all yet. If I ignore that, then the Tano is by far the most suspicious person, I think. I really liked the theory that she injured herself fighting with Kizuna. That explains the blood near the entrance. That explains this. That explains why she would set up the tripwire, why she would set this up, and it also like makes sense logically because as soon as you exited the room, like in the scene, Ayame looked at you and was like, "Hey, I found this. Look, I'm gonna go get it." Because she would have wanted someone to see her fall in the trap. She probably like just had finished shutting it up or something, but that just doesn't work because she's just wearing shorts. Like I don't see how she could be hiding her wound unless there's like. Right? Because the whole point of this would be to hide a wound on her legs. If she had like a wound on her chest that she's hiding under a shirt, this doesn't help at all. She just cut her own leg for no reason. Like if we could test the blood, that'd be different. Because you could argue that she's trying to put some of her own blood around the crime scene, so that it explains if some of her blood is found. We don't have like DNA evidence. We can't do that. So that doesn't work. I really like that theory, but I think it's wrong. It's just because of that. If she was wearing pants, I would be 100% in on this because that just sounds right. But since that doesn't work, I'll have to go with my second best theory. Someone, probably Mikaru, maybe Kinjo, one of those two set up this trap to capture killer. Yeah, that's what I'm going with for now. When it comes to the actual like the physicality of how exactly like the murder was performed, honestly, I've completely ignored that. It's some device, like the rope was like burnt and then it was covered in gasoline. It mentions it's wet. I assume that's the oil that Akane mentioned. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Yeah, I assume it being wet is oil that was poured like at a precise point on the rope, so that when it reaches that point, then it burns the entire room. I assume this was part of it. I don't exactly know how, don't ask me, but this was part of like the way that the room was burned somehow. Could it? Because the first thing they thought of when they saw this was that the culprit used it to hide blood splatter, to stop blood splatter from getting on them. That is possible. It could just be as simple as that. Is there any chance? No, that's stupid. That's stupid. I was gonna say, is there any chance that she was killed during the fire while Kinjo and the others were trying to put out the fire? Uehara went in the back, went through the broken window, killed Kizuna, then went back, and used the sheet to protect himself. That's not the stupidest theory. But again, I think she was already dead by then. Did it take them 30 minutes to clear the fire? I forget the exact timeline. Lighter is pretty self-evident. Secret message. I don't know. I think this is just something the culprit had on them. I don't really see how this is relevant. So yeah, I think it's either Hatano or Uehara. I'm leaning a lot more towards Hatano though. I think, how is this burned? That's my question. If this was a trap set up by someone who's not the culprit to catch the culprit, how is this burned? Did they just like burn it themselves on their own? It could have been fucking Kurokawa, right? Because we didn't know where she was or what she was doing the entire time. Did she go back to her room, fucking use the incense or whatever to burn her flashlight, then went back and set up the trap to catch the culprit? To like, because like if it's burnt, the culprit will think, oh, I must have forgotten this in the wreckage. Okay. Akane, I don't think she's the culprit because she's been acting like obviously like bothered about something. I don't think they would make the culprit be someone who's like obviously something obviously wrong with them. And also, I think she's staying alive for a lot longer. I think she knows who the killer is because I realized I think what they're trying to say with Teruya's testimony and Kuroko's testimony and Tara's testimony, if you put these together, I think what they're trying to say, it's unclear because the translation is weird, but I think what they're trying to say is that the knife was taken from the kitchen while Akane was there. So I think what might have happened is like maybe someone came and was like, hey, can I borrow this knife? And Akane was like, oh, okay. And during the investigation, she noticed like, oh my god, that person, it was the killer. That seems really dumb though. I don't know why the killer would do that. I still don't know what this... the only thing I can think of with this bit about spilling oil on herself, the only thing I can think of is that it's like a clue to remind you that oil exists. I don't see how it would be relevant that oil was on her clothes. She did mention that she tried to wash in the washing machine, but the washing machine was broken. I don't think that's relevant. So she had to wash in the bathroom. Kinjo, yeah, I talked about this earlier. The window fragments. They mentioned several times, or Kinjo mentioned, that the window fragments were too neat. Sorry. I still don't know exactly what that means. The only thing I can think of is that it was broken... God, sorry. What he's saying is it was broken intentionally. Like it wasn't broken like during a fight or something. I think that's what it means. I think part of the Rube Goldberg machine was set up to break the glass. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I don't know. I think it's very unlikely that the culprit was actually like in the room while people were putting out the fire and escaped through the glass. I don't think that happened. I did think about the possibility of like Uehara played a sound effect of glass breaking somehow, but the glass was already broken, and then he went around and did stuff. But there's been zero foreshadowing for that, so I don't think that'd be it. I don't think a recording device has been mentioned a single time. If it had, that would definitely be one of my theories. Again, this points to Uehara, even though technically anyone could have gotten it because the curfew wasn't enforced at all. But this seems to indicate that maybe Uehara could have gotten stuff. Is it gonna be that Uehara took... Oh, okay. Is it gonna be that Uehara took the lighter, the fuse, and the flashlight, and then Kizuna took one flashlight and Mikari took the two remaining flashlights, and Mikari used those two flashlights to set up the wire trap? I don't know. and Kurokawa's testimony. I don't know why this was. This made me think that the Kane was the culprit, because she was like, "Hey, I don't want anyone else to hear this, but a knife was missing from the kitchen." It's like, okay, yeah, we know. I think she's implying that maybe Akane's sus. I don't think Akane's the culprit. Right now, it's either Uehara or Hatano. It's one of those two. I'm almost certain. Akane, okay, I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put Uehara at 50%, Hatano at 40%, and Akane at 10%. So my guess is Uehara, the priest. That's what I'm going with. I don't think I can figure anything else out. I spent a long time thinking about this, by the way. That's what I got. Dying message. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay, let's just go. Let's save. Oh man, I hope I don't get owned. Clash trial in session. First of all, let's start with a brief explanation of the clash trial. The outcome of the clash trial is decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, only they will get punished, but in case you point out the wrong person, I'll punish everyone except the blackened, and the one who tricked everyone else will graduate from this academy. Also, this translation is brought to you by Zephy, so you're better than well appreciated or I'll punish you fools. Oh, okay, is the clash trial translated like differently than the main game? If that's so, that'd be nice, because there's been a lot of weird language in the main game that made things harder to understand. Make sure to check my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Finally, the second trial, the clash trial, has begun. There's no such thing as being used to this atrocious game. I'm actually more anxious than last time. But if I'm afraid here, it can't be helped. As we did last time, let's think carefully with everyone. Now then, first... Wait a minute, there's something I want to ask first. Is she gonna ask about the body discovery announcement? Oh my, what's the hold up? What are you going to ask? Last time it was my first time, so I didn't question it, but now that I think about it, I believe I have to ask this now. Yeah, there we go. That's my girl. That's my girl. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have a really good guess depending on what his answer is on this. What exactly are the conditions for the broadcast to show up? Kari, why are you suddenly asking this kind of stuff? If you find a dead body, then it shows the BDA. You just shut up. Hoo, I see. After all, it is Makaru, the one who paid attention to that, huh? Me too. I also paid attention. Even so, it is basically as Kobashikawa-kun says. When you find a body, I broadcast it only when at least three people have found the body. Okay. Now, follow-up question. I hope you asked this, Makaru. Does this include the killer? Then the announcement will show up for everyone. Was it always like that? Is that rule made on the spot, or was it applied from last time? Of course, it was applied from the beginning. In Maki's case, Taira found it first, and Maeda, and finally Hatano. Since the order was complete, it satisfies the condition of 3 people. That announcement came out because that role was successfully completed. Right, it's true. The announcement rang the moment Hatano discovered it last. This thing, to say an important detail at a time like this. Was that? Did I not tell you about this? It's too late. Oh crap, well, you know when people live, they forget. It's like that, right? Well, I'm not human, but a bear, so it's okay. Okay, when more than 3 people find a body. Well, that found criteria is not dwell on time, is it? Don't know what that means. For example, a week passes after the initial discovery, then the second one appears, and even if the third discovery appears another week later, the broadcast will also ring? Yeah, time doesn't matter at all. When the first 3 people who've seen a corpse in any way... the announcement will sound the moment the third person discovers the body. Okay, I'm almost certain, because I went back and checked this. The way Kinjo called the story, it was that himself, Hayame and Mikaru went in, saw the body, and the body discovery announcement played at that point. Uehara was not in the group. So if that is correct, then Ayame can't be the killer. And Uehara is the only person left, really. I can't see it being anyone else. Satsuki, I was talking about Satsuki earlier. Could be, but I feel like there's nothing else really indicating her except for that she was like a second late for that one scene. And it was because her room was in the corner, which is true. I went and checked, so... So the Uehara stocks are definitely rising. The third person discovers the body. Mikaru, I know it's fine to check the rules, but is the condition of the body discovery announcement important enough to ask? Why are you against this? Wouldn't our main purpose now be to find the culprit? Keep quiet, I'm not over yet. Now then, Monokuma, this is the most important question. That would be, a witness to the crime includes the culprit? There we go. Oh? Huh? I've asked the question, you want to answer? You asked, did the witnesses include the culprit? Well, that's a bit pretty very super great whole delicate matter. I see, even with a sharp sense, it becomes a problem. Okay, I'll tell you in this particular scenario. Depending on the characteristics of the case, whether or not the culprit is included in the discovery will be decided at the end of the trial. Oh, What, then it's different this time? Then no one knows, it's up to our own judgment. That would also induce everyone to be against each other. I already told you this, when it comes to trials, I'm fairer than a Buddha, God and Jesus combined. You said Jesus twice in a different meaning. Let's recap. In the last case, you said that the announcement rang because Akane, Yuki, and Ayame discovered the body. Then, in the last case, Mitsuhiro Iga, the culprit, must have been excluded from the equation of 3 people discovering the body. Meh, I excluded Higakun, in fact. It didn't matter much if I included him, since the first 3 people to discover it were together that time. Yeah, that's true. Then, what about this case? The culprit who killed Kizuna Tomori. Did you include that person as a discoverer? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Specific Kosyo aside. Why the sudden dialect? Did you copycat Teruya? Wow, my dialect's not that awkward. I mean, I have the mainland pronunciation. You don't seem to be enough from the mainland to mix different parts of every country. No comment on that. Well, if you ask my opinion on a particular case, I would be the one in trial instead. If a judge enters the discussion, it's unfair, right? That would be a violation, poo-hoo-hoo. You're also evading the answer. Fine, just looking at your reaction makes me think I touch a sensible subject. Nope, I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell is Mikaru talking about? Someone let me know. Okay. So, Ayame is not excluded. Because Monokuma said he'll change the rule depending on the case. So, that actually makes me think Ayame is the killer. That really makes me think Ayame is the killer. Because why would he even bring up that he can change the rule depending on the case if he didn't? Because think about it from his perspective. If he says that it has to be, it can include the killer. Yeah, because if he didn't change it and it couldn't include the killer, you would just know that one of those 3 people, Kinji or Ayame, was the killer. Okay, Ayame's stocks are rising now. Well, that does it for the mischief to this point, and let's go to trial soon. Did you know that 12 o'clock has passed already? Originally, I was going to start right away, but Miss Mikaru sounded weird and it's late now. Anyway, let's go. First, start with the arrangement of the case. Please begin the discussion. Why did Mikaru ask us the question? I have no clue what she's thinking. You're very stupid. I'm curious, but now I have to focus on the trial without thinking about anything else. Time to arrange this scene. Let's gather everyone. I hate to follow Monokuma's words, but we need to begin with the case. That is the topic at hand, because the people on the dormitory side at the time of the situation wouldn't know the details of this incident. Alright, what happened to them? After listening to the body discovery announcement, I was in a hurry to find you guys, and then Tomori, she was dead in the power room, all over with burn marks in the room. Okay, for those who know, reorganize the scene with the rest, and those who do not know the order of events. From now on, take some time to confirm your positions with everyone. Kinju-kun, don't you have something to tell us before that? What? You said you wouldn't make anyone a victim if you followed you. For that purpose, we agreed and you got rid of a group of 3 people. And everything ended up like this, so why? Are you proud of it? Good job then. Not really the moment. Okay, I would have to make amends to risk my own life and apologize for that because I didn't keep my promise, but if you can't surpass this moment, everyone will die. It's a pity for what happened with Tamori, but I also have a duty to keep you all from being executed in this class trial. If you don't like it, I'll be out of this trial. Yeah, I'm an incompetent cop who can't make promises anyway. That's enough. Everyone is on edge. Think about other things later and focus on the trial for now. Yes, Akane, I know you mean well, but let's finish this first. Yeah, and Kinjo-kun, I didn't mean to. Sorry. It's fine then. Let's begin sorting out the case step by step. Well, you know, I won't say it anymore, but I won't help you, understand? We don't need you because there's Kinjo-kun with us. I'm just gonna start like live translating in a way that just reads better, even if that's not what's written. Are you talking to me? No, Mikaro, you can stay. Don't let me do everything. We have to do it together. I said this to myself. Even for a useless person, you must understand the truth of the case. Boo, alright. Then let's begin. I didn't manage to get to the power room at the beginning of the whole incident to see it directly. Yeah, let's discuss what we heard and saw. The first part, around 9 PM, Atana discovered a fire in the power room was 9 PM? Well, I thought this was a way later. Okay, I completely missed out. Okay, yeah, you're the killer. Right? Wait. No, Ayami's the killer. Wait. It's Ayami or Huerara for sure. For sure. So she was killed during the fire? This is a Nagito situation? Okay, hang on. I need to rethink everything real quick. It's one of you two. Yeah, I was walking down the corridor on the 2nd floor before nighttime. But when I entered the power room, there's a black smoke coming out because it seemed to smell like something burning. You mean that's what happened? I was at the antique shop, but I had no idea. I heard Atana's yelling and rushed to the 2nd floor. Uehara and Mikaro were together as we bumped into each other on the way. We went first to the power room, the epicenter of the fire. It was hot and smoky. The fire was about to spread from the control room to the outside. Yes, it's exactly what Kinjo told me. I already know this part from Kinjo. What did Uehara do soon after was... What? Use a fire extinguisher. So you brought a fire extinguisher in the hallway on the 2nd floor to extinguish the fire, right? Yeah, that's correct. By the way, how does Maeda know that? The ones in that case were Kinjo, Uehara, Mikaro, and me. Oh, I asked Kinjo about it while investigating. Right, I told him Maeda knows the unfolding process of the case. Is that so? Then let's continue. The 4 of us were putting out the fire. I heard something breaking inside the control room. At that moment, Kinjo looked at Uehara and asked to see if someone was going out to the power room door. And the other 3, including me, went to the control room inside, and then the body discovery announcement played. So yeah, Uehara was not counted. Inside there was... Tomoya was dead. Yeah, at that point the BDA, yeah, he's mentioned, the BDA came out. Taira and Kurokawa arrived at the power room soon after. Okay, from here on our dorm team is joined, so let me speak. When we arrived, the fire had already been extinguished. After that, like last time, Monokuma handed out the file and put us on time to investigate. Right, from here on out are the things that I've seen with my own eyes. Right after I examined the control room and returned, that happened. That being Atana's injury. Shortly thereafter, Atano had an accident in which her leg was injured by a wire trap. That's what happened? Yamaguchi said it before in front of the elevator. Didn't you hear it, dummy? Ayami-chan, it's really okay. You still seem to be a little wobbly. Oh, no problem. It hurts a little right now, but it's not a major injury, so we can treat it properly after the trial. Isn't that right, Hinori? Yes. Well, you don't have to worry. Please continue with the trial. ... Huh. You, that leg wound. Is this an injury more serious than expected? Exclamation mark. What are you talking about? Didn't she say it was okay? Even pretense is useless. Do you think I can't read other people's minds? You, that incompetent and the doctor, the atmosphere of you tree. It makes things clear that something happened. Shall we guess? Let's see. How about the leg injury that's so serious you won't be able to use it ever again? What? What are you talking about? Ayami-chan said she was okay. That is a lie, right? Mikari is just talking nonsense, yeah? ... Hey. Sorry, I thought you might be worried more, so I decided to keep this with Hatano. I lied. I'm sorry. Inori, no! Is it a lie? What do you mean? In reality, Hatano's injury, the moving muscle tissue, the most important posterior tendon, was amputated. Without luck, it's a serious injury that you might really have to wear crutches forever. What? Why, she was lying to say that. Why was she lying to say that it's okay for that serious injury? This is the most important trial of all our lives. Every detail matters. Sorry. Because of that, Hatano and I thought it was to avoid getting you guys confused, but I'm sorry that Hatano tried to pretend to be okay, so sorry. Yami-chan, it's a lie, right? That's a lie! Tell us something. Sorry, I was lying. What? Then it's really... Because the nurse's office is now locked, and since there are no facilities for treatment to treat the wound, it is literally hemostasis. It's really hard to stand still. Isn't that too much for her? Hatano, shouldn't you get treated quickly, get healed, and come to your trial later? Hey, what are you talking about? What's more important than the trial? That is... But... Ayami-chan, she can't even run again. No, I'm sorry, but I agree with Mikari. Whether your leg is crippled, cut off, or unable to walk, if you don't win the trial, you'll die. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then it's more serious than what you mentioned before the trial. I lied that I was okay with this. As a result, it caused even greater confusion. Sorry, everyone. Ayami-chan doesn't have to be sorry. Can't she be let go? At least to get a proper treatment? No, it's absolutely forbidden to leave the court during the trial. If you're worried about Miss Hatano's leg, you'll have to finish your trial first. You say that, but I'm also in agreement. I don't really care, but I want you to focus on finding the culprit. If the focus is on me, I'll die just standing. But Ayami-chan... So she says, but let me comply with the will. And don't you think it would be wise to finish the trial earlier in time and get treatment? Uehara is right, Hatano. It may still be painful, but please hold on a little. Let's focus on the trial for now, everyone. Okay. Thank you for your consideration, Akane. Then let's get back to the main topic again. Yeah, where did we end again? We're talking about Hatano's injury by the wire. Yeah, shortly thereafter, Inori took Hatano to provide first aid. We went out of the power room and we continued the investigation. That's the end of it, right? Yeah, I couldn't even leave the room. Quiz, but I think it's a useless question. Sorry in advance. The infirmary was locked, so how did you do Hatano's treatment and where? Good question. Right, I needed something tough and thick to use as bandages, so there were some things like rags in the warehouse. However, since it is really a substitute and only first aid, there's a possibility of additional sepsis and bacterial infection. She will need antibiotics just in case. But in order to do that, we have to find out the killer and end this trial, right? Yeah, but because someone died. Well, is there really another culprit among us? A killer who stabbed Amori? Now, why are you dotting it for? That's for sure. But if you point the killer gets executed. It seems like you're sacrificing one person to save Hatano. So would you save the killer? To save a killer, 11 of us have to die? I agree. Let me say this, okay? A person who knows their own situation is cheap even if they die here. How long will you use our time? Will you use up our time on useless topic? I didn't mean it that way. I apologize. Also, how come Mikaru and Kinjo are teaming up? They seem to be getting better now? I understand what Tori's feeling, but is this okay? I feel the same because it feels like, in the end, whether or not we point out the killer, in this trial, someone will be killed. I wish there were no victims, but that bear Monokuma won't let us go. Damn it. What purpose does he want to achieve? Despair. So the case was cleared up. Who's the killer? Yeah, who's the killer? Who is the killer? Who is the killer? Who is the killer? Ayame. Probably Ayame. Okay, I'm changing my percentage. 65% Ayame. 30% you, Uehara. 5% Akame. You have to figure that out from now on. Honestly, this case has a lot of twists. Yeah, it sure does. If you think of it as an ordinary murder case, it's not going to fit in at all. First, let's solve the mystery of each event one by one. The priority should be the victim's body. The body? Tamori's corpse is an important clue to be able to tell the whole story of this incident. There aren't just one or two secrets related to her body. Or to the corpse. Personally, I didn't notice anything special. The corpse. Based on my investigation, let's present the evidence I gathered. From now on, this non-stop debate. I know not. It's the same thing, yeah? Okay, it's the same thing. Stomach wound, Kurokawa's testimony. Galby's stomach wound. What clues does Tamori's body have? I don't remember well. The knife was in her neck. Also, the whole body was covered with blood all over. That's true. It was terrible. Satsuki was vomiting for a while. Were you? She was dead. Is this relevant? Yeah, she was. Other than that, can you think of something more essential? One of these is wrong? Written Monokuma file about what Tamori died of, and you gave me a clue that supports that evidence. Okay, damage because I didn't solve it instantly. What clue does Tamori's body have? The knife was in her neck. That is correct. I guess it wants me to... The whole body was with blood. Maybe this and it's just badly translated? It was terrible. Satsuki was vomiting for a while. She was dead. Is this relevant? I mean, want this? Nope. No, it doesn't seem like that. Something makes the idea appear to be wrong. I don't know what it wants on me. The knife was in her neck. That is correct. The whole body... This? No. Okay, I'm gonna die here. That's nice. Kurokawa's testimony? How is that relevant? Their testimony was just that... Oh, you want me to say that the knife was from the kitchen? Okay, sure. That's not really a contradiction. That's more like association of ideas, but sure, whatever. Tara, wait a second. The weapon that stabbed Tamori was not a simple knife. It was a kitchen knife. I wouldn't call that a contradiction, but okay. Huh? Kitchen knife? A kitchen knife is a type of knife. Right, it's even clearly stated in the Monokuma file. The definitive cause of death was a cut through the esophagus caused by a knife. Right, sorry, I couldn't remember all, but the kitchen knives are only in the kitchen. Is there any evidence the culprit brought it from there? There is, because Kurokawa saw the knife disappear from the kitchen right after the incident. Right, Kurokawa? Yes. Too slow response. But the killer brought the kitchen knife out of the kitchen? I guess it disappeared from the kitchen. But that's a little weird. If the killer used a kitchen knife, there's a contradiction. What are you talking about? Oh wait, I think I know. Is this why Tara's speaking up? It's clear then, at the time of the crime, Tara should know that it was contradictory for the killer to take the kitchen knife from because she was in the kitchen. Tara, that contradiction is because you were in the kitchen at nighttime, right? Yes, right, that's it, Maida-kun. What? What does that mean? Makaru, didn't you say you weren't gonna meddle? I said I wouldn't help, but I didn't say I would not raise a question, asshole. Yikes. Yikes, Makaru. That's kind of problematic language. I'm gonna need you to stop that right now. Tara told me. She was cooking in the kitchen near the end of nighttime. Cooking? Yeah, I'm sure because I remember that I accidentally splashed oil on my clothes and wiped them in the bathroom. Oh. So are we saying that the oil was like booby trapped to spray oil on her so that she would leave the kitchen so that the culprit could come in and take a knife? Is that what we're saying? 500 IQ killer? Okay, Akane has gone from 5% to 0%. Live update. Live stock update. Oh, that happened. Wait, if Tara was still in the kitchen at that point, how did the culprit take the knife from the kitchen without bumping into her? Also, that's not all that's weird. Tara said it was around nighttime, but Tomori's death was at 9:30 written in the monochroma file. Tara, I'm asking just in case. You're the last person in that area. Did you put all the knives in place before you left the kitchen? Yes, I used it when I was cooking myself, so I remember it for sure. Wait, what? When the knife was used in a crime, Tara, if you check all the knives in the kitchen, it doesn't make sense. That's why... okay. So what we're saying is... what we're saying is... that the killer used something... the murder weapon was not the kitchen knife, and the culprit just... the culprit just went in the kitchen after she left, took the knife, went up, stabbed Kizuna in the neck while there was a fire going on, and while... this is so strange. I feel like this isn't gonna make sense. I don't see how this can make sense. Let's keep going. If you think about it, do you think it's not a kitchen knife then? No, there are only kitchen knives in the kitchen. The second floor was open and I've been searching all places ever since. But when everyone started investigating, didn't Kurokawa say she saw the kitchen knife disappear? The knife used as a weapon, kitchen, that's correct. Which one is it? Kinjo, don't you know? Sure, it's a contradiction. You don't even have to think about the ridiculous story of using another knife out of nowhere. Okay, my bad. Kinjo reached the limit, now we're all finished. But there's only one way to solve this problem. Really? How? Very simple, in fact. Tara, you're lying. Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. Tara, you're lying right now. What? Huh? Wait, why is it this way? Isn't it obvious? The monochroma file doesn't lie. Then the time of death is sure to be 9:30. Also, the kitchen knife is only in the kitchen. Therefore, the order of the events is the kitchen knife was being taken from the kitchen, killed Kizuna Tomori. Okay. I will just read this how it's written, and you can come to your own interpretation. Therefore, the order of events, the kitchen knife being taken from the kitchen, killed Kizuna Tomori, is established. These two facts can be proven with certainty. But what does Akane Taira mean? What proves that a woman was cooking in... what proves that that woman was cooking in the kitchen? Now wait a minute, what are you trying to say? Tara, I'm in doubt. Were you together with someone? Yes or no? I was alone. I can't believe someone without witnesses. Anyone can use it as if it's just a talkative alibi. Oh no, wait a minute. Why is the room like this all of a sudden? I was really in the kitchen, guys. But if Tara's words are true, it doesn't make sense. Tara, did you lie? What did you lie? Don't tell me. Tara's the culprit? Yeah, Akane is fully cleared of suspicion. There's no way she's the killer. Because she would never be brought up this early if she's the killer. Why am I the culprit? What reason is there for me to kill Kizuna-chan? There's nothing. I got it. She kept ignoring your persuasions and invitations. Did you bear a grudge? Funny, really. Kizuna-chan grunted a lot, but in the end she accepted us. The murder happened after that. I can see that you may not be the killer. Still, to say you were in the kitchen would be a lie. Why are you lying like that? No, it's not a lie. Tara, tell me honestly. I want to believe you that you're not the culprit. But then Tara is really lying to us? Wait, I can't tolerate Akane being the culprit without corroboration. But I'm not trying to blame them. It doesn't make any sense if Tara's words were true. Now, there's a case where Akane's words can be proven to be true enough. What? It seems you haven't realized. Since you don't, let me show you. The fact that Akane never lied. Okay, I know how these works. Broken window, Kinjo's testimony. Probably Kinjo's testimony. If Akane's words are true, and Tomori died by Kinshin, then it's simple. As soon as they kill Tomori, they put the knife back in the kitchen. Are you stupid? The time of death is 9:30 p.m. You can't use the knife before that. What? No, there's still a contradiction. Did you forget Tomori's fatal injury was a cut to his throat, meaning it's not hard to think that death was not instant. In other words, the time of Tomori's death is almost consistent with— I didn't get to read that. You don't know that. In fact, even at such time there was individual differences. Once that problem is solved, the rest... After Akane left the kitchen, the culprit returned to the power room with the knife and... No, that's wrong. It's not what I said earlier. The culprit killed... Okay, so wait. Her theory, if I'm understanding correctly, is that what? The killer took the knife, killed Kizuna. I don't even understand what her theory is. The knife was like returned like 2 times? Atane, I'm sorry, but there's a contradiction in that logic. What are you talking about? Isn't it possible to commit a crime while proving Kane's words? Atano, you mean the killer is taking a knife out of the kitchen right after Tara leaves the kitchen to wash her clothes? And they run straight to the power room and put the knife back into Tomori's body. Okay, so her theory is early in the day, someone takes the knife, goes to kill Kizuna, stabs her, but Kizuna doesn't die. She lays on the floor bleeding to death for like an hour. The culprit goes back, puts the knife back in the kitchen, goes do something else. Akane comes back, cooks food. Akane leaves. The culprit comes back, takes the knife, goes back up, goes through the broken window, and puts the knife back in Kizuna's body. To be clear, that was her theory. Okay, that is very funny. Yeah, if you move quickly, it's quite possible in less than 3 minutes from the kitchen to the power room. Fast enough isn't the problem. Did you forget, Atano? By the time nighttime began, you guys were putting off a fire in the power room. Yeah, you were right there. You would have seen it. Oh. Atane, Kinjo, Mikaru, Uehara. If 4 people are in the power room and walk in with an object that stands out like a kitchen knife, it cannot be missed or even hidden in plain sight. In other words, even if someone secretly manages to pull the knife out of the kitchen while Kan is out, it's absolutely impossible to enter inside the control room and stab the knife on the body. I can't. Okay, so she's lying. Yeah. That's probably why she was like nervous, looking nervous earlier. I think someone borrowed the knife from her, or something. Thanks for the explanation, Maida. Thanks to you, it saved us trouble. Like Maida said, Atano, I understand that you're a close friend to Tyra. Unfortunately, if Tyra's words were true, there would be an absolute contradiction to appear in her testimony. Akane, speak up your mind. Did you really lie? Can I say one more important detail in this? When a current body discovery announcement showed up, the 4 of us who put out the fire and the 6 in the student dormitory confirmed each other, so there's an alibi for us. But Akane Tara and Mikako Kurokawa, you 2 have no alibi. Well, this much has been proven thus far. Tara really killed Tamori? Okay. No, I'm not the real killer. Tara? Really, the kitchen knife thing, I really don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken. But I'm really not the culprit. I didn't kill Kizuna-chan. Akane, really? Can I trust you? But how do you explain that when you don't have an alibi? If you don't have one, it means that either Tara or Kurokawa is the culprit. You're the most likely suspect in every way. Is it so weird to cook alone and go to the bathroom? I just happen to be alone. Tara, tell the truth, and if you're not guilty, prove your innocence. Is Tara really the culprit? Certainly, even without an alibi, there's one or two places in doubt. But was Tara really with Tamori? No, I can't just doubt it yet. Not until all riddles are solved. I have to think what's been missing in the entire premise thus far. Okay, I might die here. I really hope I don't have to do everything again if I died. That would be very annoying. Curious testimony. Burn fuse line, glass shards. Tara is... Tara is the... What is this translation, man? I am not. You're not Chinese? Akane doesn't have an alibi. Since when? Kobatsukawa and I say 8:30 PM. That's what I think. And there's no alibi for about 1 hour and 30 minutes with a witness missing. There'd be enough time to kill a person and for the fire. I did not hit her, I did not. What was the fire for? There were a lot of confusing things at the scene. There were a lot of like lighters, flashlights, fuse lines, etc. If Tara doesn't have a alibi, she would be able to obtain them, wouldn't she? No, no. Shoot! I'm shooting! Oh my god. Okay, the argument is shitty, but the argument we're gonna say is that she couldn't have gotten them because of the curfew. Even though she was breaking the curfew today, but I guess we're assuming she didn't break it yesterday, she couldn't have gotten the items. I can't. If you're okay, listen. Let's have a real talk real quick, okay? This is a fan translation. A lot of some people, I don't know if this was a group project or a single guy, translated this and did it for free, and that's cool. That they would like do this and like make it available for like way more people that don't speak the language. With that being said, I feel like there has been absolutely like not a single person has read through this after it was finished. Not a single native English speaker as well. How could you possibly let that Chinese line go through? Like, that's just mind-boggling to me. Wait, Kobatsukawa, that's impossible. What do you mean about Tara procuring the tools used in the crime? Yes, Tara has no alibi for the time being. I can't deny that. Bring the tools, however, there sure is one. Oh, you seem. Oh yeah. Didn't we go in our rooms with her? I mean, she could have just left her room right after still. Oh, you seem certain about the alibi. I want to hear this. The reason I know this is because of the facts that somebody told me. Why did Tori? Huh? But Tori knew it. The lighter and fuse disappeared during nighttime. Gone? From where? My guess would be the antique shop again. Tori mentioned that he went to the antique store every day. After Maki's incident, the antique store was filled with most of the items. Then after nighttime, on the second day, the things used in the case suddenly disappeared, as mentioned by Tori. Oh, that's it, that's right, I did check them. So, are you saying the killer took the tools during nighttime on the second day? That would be the case, unless Tori's lying. No, I'm not lying, it's true. Hey, the second day, Otori, was almost 2 days ago? Why didn't you talk about it back then? Know what kind of scheme was made when Maki was? I'm sorry, at that time, I wasn't able to figure things out properly. It could have been my own mind playing tricks, so I wasn't really sure about it. Well, if you're sure the tools were gone then, the killer took the tools in the middle of the night on the second day. That is what happened so far, if I understand this correctly. May I ask how that becomes Tara's alibi? Why Tori's testimony becomes Tara's alibi? It's because Tara can't go to the antique store on that night. Right, Rara probably doesn't know about the tree who weren't with Kinjo, and only the rest know. So we know Tara can go to the antique store during the night. And the reason is... I mean, okay. Again, this doesn't prove anything. But this is what you want. Why Tara couldn't bring the tools at night is because of the nighttime rule, of course. Nighttime rule? Wait, what? If it's a nighttime rule, that's what Kinjo decided, right? Do not come out of a room late at night after 10. Didn't it literally say 9 PM before? Because that's what was confusing me with her being in the kitchen. Today. I'm 100% sure it said 9 PM before, so that's another example of the translation making things harder to solve. When did you decide that? Makaru and Huara have no choice but to know now, because the group decided when you were not there. Oh wait, that's it, they don't come out of their room at night. This means that all of the rest, meaning Makaru and Huara, who were on their own, could have come out after nighttime. Yes, in other words, Tara was also in the time frame alibi during nighttime. Yeah, I never came out of my own room at night. Wait a minute, there's no alibi at all. Yeah, thank you, Makaru, for bringing out the obvious. No shit. That nighttime rule isn't a rule set by Monokuma, is it? So what makes you think it's a genuine rule? You don't get killed from breaking it, and no evidence if you did, correct? I'm sorry, but I think the same thing. Even if why did we even bring this up? It's so stupid. Even if Tara followed the rules faithfully, it's no different from before without evidence. Does that mean? No, with that rule, Tara's alibis could be enough. Were you like walking around, or did you put things in her door, like Yumineko Erika seals, to make sure no one actually did it? Tara's alibi could be enough. Kinju-kun. Oh, what is it now? Until now, you've been pushing Kanatara, but you're defending her this time? Don't tell me you're going to accept your own rules now, because that's a self-made rule. Surely not. I know the laxity this rule has. It's lax? Of course, as Makaru said, it wasn't a formal rule, and it was decided by ourselves, but there was no problem with breaking it. But break it? Isn't that actually helping the culprit? Oh no, Kinjo, did you suggest such a thing even though you knew this would happen? Sorry, I kept this a secret from you guys. Actually, I did some work on your private rooms. Work? He did do the seal thing. Indeed. Every night time— oh my god, he's so based. I love this guy. Every night time, I put a tin tread on the door of your private rooms. Tread? What does that mean then? In fact, it is pasted so that it passes between the wall connecting to the door and the door frame. Welcome back, Erika. If you do this, the tape will break when the door is open and the tread will break as well. So, if the tread was broken, it would sound like someone has opened the door. If the tread was broken... This is just badly translated again. Now, I've been watching at night every day this way. As each nighttime starts, I put a new tread on, and I got up earlier than anyone else in the morning to check if any of the treads are cut. So I can guarantee you, Tara has never been out of the room in a single night past 10 PM. Oh, did you do that? Then you know who exactly left the room on the night the tools were gone? No, unfortunately, I didn't find that out. What do you mean? What do you mean you couldn't figure? What do you mean you couldn't figure it out? You mean you couldn't confirm that the tread was broken? No, it's because no one had broken the tread. Okay, so it's what I said earlier. It's what I said earlier. Uehara is the culprit. It has to be. Or is it Atano? It could still be Atano. It could still be Atano. There's a tight race between Hatano and Uehara right now for who's the culprit. Wait, that means... You mean no one left their room at night on the second day? To be precise, the rest except Makaru, Uehara, and Tomori. Because those three were an exception. Then that means that it was one of the three that was able to use the tools at the time. However, Tomoe's already dead, so either Mikaru or Uehara is the culprit. Don't make such rash judgment. I swear I didn't commit murder. Now wait a minute. Kinjo? What does it mean for us to have a tread in the door as a secret? What do you mean? I explained it was a device to check if you were out of the room. Not like that. It's as if you couldn't trust us at all. Shut up. That's a smart thing to do. I mean, you were spying on us without saying a word? Tara's right, Kinjo. You don't believe in us, do you? Shut up. It's not my reality to believe or not believe. This is just my nature, my own personality. I'm basically always suspicious of everyone other than me. Why is that your nature? What's with the expression of disapproval? I proved Tara's alibi thanks to a tread on the door, right? Reasoning itself is impossible unless you're basically suspicious of others. Kinjo-kun, you're really... Stop it! Stop fighting! Why do you keep trying to fight? This isn't the time right now. While we're doing this, Atano's leg. Everyone calm down. Even if I omit my legs, how many times is it going to repeat already? It's not too late to cover up disputes later. After the trial is over. Now, let's focus on the case, please. Okay. So, is it just me and the priest we eventually took the tools? For now, I think so. But isn't that funny? You guys, all the other kids are suspicious, but Tsurugi Kinjo is not at all? What? Yeah, it could be lying. I'll say this again, no matter how much you claim Akane Tara was in the kitchen, it's useless without evidence. What do you prove, Tsurugi Kinjo? That a guy attaches a tread to a door? Where's the evidence that confirms your actions? Kinjo? If you think he's the culprit, in all situation he can sleep at will, why is Tsurugi Kinjo not suspicious then? Do you think I'm the culprit now? Well, I'm just talking about possibilities. But you know there's no evidence in your words, do you? If that's the case, there's no evidence for Tori's testimony, right? The only one who checked these items was Tori. And even though it was gone on the second day, we have no way to check it. What in blazes? You can't believe me now? What in blazes? One moment, if Kinjo's or Tori's words are false, isn't Tara's alibi also false? Wait, what? I'm telling the truth here. Everyone's in disarray. It's like they're trying to look for reasons to distrust each other even more than Maki's trial. As her trust started to break, I don't want this outcome. I'm powerless on my own. Enough. Considering the true or falsehood of the testimony will change nothing, I believe. The testimonies that has already been pointed out is already a testimony worth considering. I like to approach this from the other side of the case. She is talkative. Her secret was correct. Kurokawa, I think this is the first time since I came here, that you said that you talked. I don't even know how to make this make sense. Again, I'll just read it how it is. Kurokawa, I think this is the first time I came here that you said the longest speech. Kurokawa's right, you guys. Now, don't mind the trivial things. A lot of time has already passed. Focus on the idea of finding the culprit. As soon as you finish, will it be daybreak till then? Am I already half asleep right now? You shut up. Yes, it seems we were so enthusiastic about the killer being liars. As Kurokama said, let's turn around halfway back and move on. Okay, I think that would be good, because I also want to avoid making Discord with you guys. Do whatever you want. To go around halfway, you mean talking about the identity of the criminal? Are you going to put things aside for a while? I feel like it's been like an hour, we have not talked about anything at all. Either way, whether Tara lied or not, we don't have the evidence, no matter who's right or not. Let's first solve another mystery. Okay, that's fine. 2, the more urgent it is, the more necessary it is to go back to. But even if we go back, what do we do first? Basically, the same as before. You guys recall, the most important thing in this case is the dead body. But aside from who the culprit is, tell me what doubts you have about it. Then the path towards the outline of the culprit will look more natural. The body. Tomoe's body was the most important clue. Let's recall in my memory how Tomoe's body looked. Hope I don't die here. Piece of bloody cloth, stomach wound. Probably stomach wound. How Tomoe was killed. Let's think about it. I thought of that before, but first of all, it's the knife, right? Yes, the Mono Kumafa clearly points this out. Tamari was dead in the switch room? Yes, you saw it. Why did she go to such a place where there's not even light? It's possible the killer moved it. Anyhow, Tamari in some way went to the switch room and without a chance to resist, instant death with a knife. No. Tori, that's not it. Remember, Tamori's cause of death was obviously the neck wound, but there was another wound. There was another one? The stomach wound, that's right. Right, that's the important point. The stomach was stabbed? It looked like it was slashed more than stabbed. Why is it important? The killer just stabbed her twice, right? In general, that makes sense, but think about it. The cause of the neck wound, in this case, for some reason, you stab your victim in the stomach and the neck later. If you're going to stab her in the neck from the start, where do you want to stab at the stomach first? The stomach was cleanly, but the fatal wound was missed. However, she was killed in the end. Is there something amiss? Ah, that's so cruel. You can probably see it like that. Looking at the case as a whole, it takes something to put into notice. What do you mean something to notice? Perhaps the fire has something to do with it. Fire, that's right. It turned out that there was a fire in the switching room. Yeah, it's also important. You guys, don't you think that the fire happened unnaturally? That's true. If you see a fuse on the wall and even a light on the floor, you could see it right away. Yeah, there's... one could assume that. So are you saying that the killer started the fire for some reason? Is there any reason to do that? This is also a question that doesn't really matter. Is the power room okay? I'm sure the switch room is a really important place, so I heard. It's a big deal if it gets damaged. Well, it's a really big place. It's cool. Of course a fire was there. Fortunately, we lived because the fuse line was laid to burn only the walls. But... oh, I was supposed to not speak, right? What did you say just now? It was laid to only burn the wall? Yeah, you could see it. It was like along the wall of the room. Oh, it was kind of puzzling after all. There was such a big fire, but Tamori's body didn't burn at all. Yeah, I did mention this. The two flashlights also were not burned. Only the wall without touching the machine or the body. Was there something on the walls? If it's a wall, what else was there? The window? Something on the wall of the switching room. There's nothing coming to mind. Wait. Looking back at it, there was a line passing by it too. It was on the wall. Yeah, that window. What was on the wall of the switching room? There's only one thing. The glass window. The glass window? That big glass window, but wasn't it broken by the time we arrived? Oh, well, it turns out that when Kinja and the others got the fire extinguisher to put out the fire, didn't they say they heard something? Cracking or breaking inside? That's right, at that time I thought it was the sound of someone in the switch room breaking the window and going outside. I asked Uehara to check the entrance of the power room. In the end, no one was seen. Wait a minute, if the only thing on the wall of the switch room is the glass window, the culprit's purpose was to burn the window? Is it what I said earlier, where like you burn the glass and it just breaks on its own? Well, I heard this somewhere. When the glass is heated, it becomes fragile. Okay, yeah. Okay. Then the killer set fire to the switch room after killing Tamori and broke the fragile glass window while everyone put out the fire and took advantage of this to escape. Wait, isn't that weird? If that's the case, all you have to do is heat up the window and break it. There's no reason to do a big job by setting the whole wall on fire for no reason, right? Just ignore that wood. It's possible it was used as a smoke screen, actually. Uehara tried to structure entrance, but didn't you say you couldn't see anything because of the smoke? Boy, that's too complicated. Anywho. It doesn't seem like someone who would say anywho. Anywho, doesn't that mean someone was inside the switch room right before we got in? Then me and Kinjo, who were gathered at the point Uehara and Makaru has a definite... At that point, Uehara and Makaru have a definite alibi, right? Okay, that's... You're the killer. You're the killer. You have to be the killer, right? You're the killer. 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 Could be. It could still be Uehara, but you're more likely right now. No, you guys are making a big mistake right now. Huh? What do you mean? Think more carefully. Then in your thoughts, you can spot the contradictions. In my thoughts? Oh, that's a lot. Burn, fuse line, dying message, glass shards, a secret note. You are mistaken. What do you mean? It's either the fuse line or the glass shards, I'm not sure. Reorganize what you guys said. First, you go into the switch room. Surely the fuse and lighter were used. I think that's correct. The reason the killer used those is because there was a purpose for setting the fire. By the way, the fuse was only surrounded by the wall, right? That would have burnt the walls. Only the walls, in addition to the window. There were no special items in there. I mean... Meaning, the culprit broke the window and smoke started to spread. Did you check that, Inori? Glass windows are fragile when heated. Yes, the molecular state changes and cracks occur. It was so fragile, the killer was prying the glass in order to escape. No. Yeah, because we're saying it was too neat to have been like smashed. Saying it broke naturally, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what? As Kinjo said, I think we were mistaken on one thing. That's what Inori said right now, the broken glass, that's what I mean. What are you talking about? We know for sure the glass window is broken, isn't it? Okay, the glass window is broken, but it wasn't broken by anyone. Yeah, it was broken on its own. It wasn't broken by anyone? The window break on their own? That's a bit ridiculous, but I guess it's on a wild fantasy. No, Maida has a very precise point. As Maida mentioned, the window was broken alone without anyone touching it. Wait, really? Is it possible? Like Inori said, the glass is weak to heat. Of course, it can withstand a certain degree, but if it is heated directly, or if the temperature difference between indoors and outdoors is severe, the weakness becomes more prominent. Guys, you remember the structure of the switching room? It was a completely closed space except for the entrance, right? In fact, even when the fire broke out, I couldn't feel any heat outside. Yeah, Kinzo's words are correct, but still, isn't it too much for a glass to break just by thermal change without any external force? Of course, the conditions are just right, not impossible, but I don't know what you're saying. Right, as Nora mentions, the logic is a bit far-fetched. But what if the conditions were met? Huh? I don't know if anyone noticed it, because it wasn't a part that was noticeable at the scene of the incidents, and because the switch room itself was dark and probably no one was interested in it. But the glass window of the switch room was very tight. That's it. The heat alone was left with enough time to break by itself. Kinjo's words would make sense. Was that ever mentioned? Or is that just something only he knows because he's a super detective? Hey, it's an interesting reasoning, but what's the basis of it? That it was only possible that the glass could break on its own by hearing this? You didn't throw this without thinking, right? Of course not, because Kinjo's remarks have an adequate basis. Isn't that right, Kinjo? Right, did you also notice it, Maida? Yeah, actually, I was also guessing when I said that the window wasn't broken by someone. The exact reason the glass broke on its own, that's probably because of the glass shards, right, Kinjo? Shards? Okay, again, Makaru's gonna say you could just be lying. None of us looked at the shards that closely. Correct. Please don't tell me I'm the only one in the world that doesn't get this until you give me a proper explanation. At first, I only knew that the killer would make use of the window in some way to escape without fail. But Kinjo said during the investigation... Then please do, I need to investigate the window more. Oh, Kinjo, 1 second, can I ask one more thing? I just heard the whole situation from you, but I still don't get what's weird about the glass shards on the window. To simply put it, it's neatly broken. The glass was neatly broken. What does that mean, you ask? In other words, it means if you broke it with human strength, it wouldn't break like this. It's human power, it's nearly broken. I don't understand. I see, what you mean is the shape of the broken mirror fragments or whatever. When I listen to Maida and think again, it really feels like that. Broken glass fragments. Yeah, if someone breaks a window with their hand or a blunt object, it should crack and break like a spider web. Have you ever experienced it at least once? You accidentally broke a glass, or the shape of a broken glass. Well, definitely. It looks like it was broken into a very complex shape, like cobwebs. But how was the glass window of the switch room? It was like a broken shape, as if part of the window somehow got neatly removed. No matter how you look at it, don't you think it was broken in an unnatural way? It certainly looks that way. There seems to be no contradiction in Kinjo's words. Funny, isn't it? Mikari, you must have known this much. I'd like you to stop trying to test me. Don't think of the class trial as a joke. Oh my, thanks for the advice. I'm just worried that one day you'll become as lost as these friends of yours. Kinjo, don't mind Mikari, keep going. Actually, they just finished explaining. Wait a minute, if Kinjo's words are true, then when a fire broke out, doesn't it mean that nobody was inside the switch room? Oh, so that's what he meant? Wouldn't that be very likely? If someone was inside and were trying to escape, it would be quicker to break the glass manually, instead of waiting to be heated in order to break itself. Yeah, besides, Uehara at that time opened the entrance to the power room and was guarding it. No matter how thick the smoke was, if someone tried to leave, they would have been caught. Okay. At that time, we all thought we hadn't seen them because we all knew someone broke the glass. But in reality, no one was inside the switch room, and thus the killer deliberately heats the glass and breaks itself, and the reason for making us think, and all for the reason of making us think that someone inside the switch room broke the glass and escaped. Okay, that's it, right? And then, in the end, everyone's alibi no longer holds. Is that the conclusion? Eh? Think about it. If there was no one inside the switch room, the killer was ready to start a fire in advance. He could mix in with us at any time. If that is the case, aren't you saying it's possible for anyone to start a fire, including Kinjo and the group who went to put out the fire when the windows was broken, and the rest of us in the dormitory side? Nani? I like that they didn't translate that. Oh, you mean we don't have an alibi either? Yamaguchi is right. Anyone can commit a crime by reasoning from the information provided thus far. Hold on, isn't it established under the premise that the person who caused the fire is the culprit? It hasn't been clear yet, but it seems too hasty. Weird thing to say if you're not the killer. There's no reason for a person who's not the culprit to start a fire. I'm not crazy enough. Even so, at the beginning, the timing of this incident, Tomori's death occurred around 9:30 p.m. Was anyone close by during that time? I mentioned this earlier, but I was cooking alone. I was looking around the warehouse for things to help with the treatments. It was useful for Atano's first aid. I was just laying in my own bed. What the? You mean everyone was alone? There does not seem to be anyone with an alibi at the time of the crime. The only way we could see each other was to find out where each other was. Where the alibis were lost with the exceptions of Mikaru, Uehara, and Kurokawa. What, then we back where we started? There's no evidence that everyone has an alibi. There's no evidence that everyone needs to have an alibi to deduce the culprit. I guess that's why. You mean there's no one to doubt? No suspects? But then who was it? Taira, except you. What? What? Isn't this deja vu again? You know, maybe we're in an infinite loop now. Remember 11 reference. Stop doubting Akane. Didn't it talk about her testimony finished before? No, it wasn't over. It's just that it was put on hold because there was so much uncertain information. Nothing resolved about why she lied. No, I didn't lie. Wait, it's not Taira, as the testimonies of Kinjo and Notori proved it, right? Yeah, that's right. Whoever the culprit is, they have to prepare a fuse and a lighter to start a fire. But wasn't it mentioned that Taira didn't come out of the room in the middle of the night when we went to our private rooms? I'm uncertain about that. Frankly, I'm suspicious of each of them. And they were put on hold. Okay, Uehara is just speaking way more like a culprit than you are. So I think Uehara's stocks are up and your stocks are down. Shouldn't we use the information we have, even if it's uncertain information? Unless there's an objection to definitely deny it. Shouldn't we use the information we have, even if it's okay, sure. I apologize. I'm really sorry. Even if there's an alibi for bringing the tools, I'll just keep it in mind. Taira's lie, however. To be honest, it's the same with me. If she's not the killer, why did she make such a suspicious remark? Hey, I told you I might have been mistaken. Well, either way, Tara wouldn't be able to get the tool, so she can't be the killer. Enough with this meaningless argument. You're really just stupid. What now, do you think we're stupid? It's so stuffy that you can't see it. Want me to share some insight? What the? At the start of this class trial, you said you wouldn't even help. Oh, did I? Then I won medal. Do it yourself. No, that isn't... Listen first. Mikaru might know something, you know? I'll tell you one thing, for those who are ignorant and poor, is that there's a method for the criminal to get the tools without using their hand. Say it then. The most representative example is an accomplice. You suspected that there could have been an accomplice in the last class trial, right? Mikaru, isn't it less likely that we have one in this case? But we're informed that the only person to escape this place would be the killer. Moreover, even if there is an accomplice, it's impossible for them to bring the tools. According to Kinjo, in the middle of the night, the day the tools disappeared, not only Tara, but also because none of us left our private rooms. Are we saying that Kizuna was the accomplice to her own murder? Except for the trio who didn't act with us. Then it's gonna be Uehara and Mikaru are the ones who helped Tara? Why are you already making it confirmed as if I did it? It's on me. Okay, surely Mikaru and me were able to roam around without any restrictions that day, but I haven't shown up to the antique shop until now. You don't even have to doubt me or Uehara Kinji. The person who brought the items from the antique shop, can't you see it? Based on the testimonies from Kinjo and Itori, there were only 3 people who were free to move around at night during that day. Mikaru is saying that the accomplice is obviously visible. Surely it can't be that person, right? Mikaru, the person who brought the tools. You mean it was Tamori? Huh? It was Tamori? That's right, if you have an accomplice, Tamori Kizuna shows up. You can't see anyone else, can you? By the way, I'm so ashamed that the incompetent had to answer this. Wait a minute, Tamori's the victim though. Why is she an accomplice? I'm not sure exactly. Either they were planning a murder for someone else and they changed their mind, or she was okay with dying for someone else's sake. I really doubt that though. That doesn't seem like something Kizuna would do. I'm not sure exactly. But the only ones to bring the tools are Mikaru, who could have brought the tools, are Mikaru, Uehara, and her. She's the victim, so I wonder if there would be contact with the criminal at some point. What if Kizuna was the one who bought everything and was gonna do this murder, but then whoever she was gonna kill fought back, killed her, and used the method she was gonna use on her? Let's keep reading. Incompetent. This is a common pattern, is it not? The story of a criminal tricking someone into a crime. Speaking of which, the criminal took advantage of the accomplice in the end. Wait a minute, Kinjo. Kinjo can also bring the tools at night time. There's no way to prove that Kinjo was out of the room in that. True. Didn't the time to talk about that run out? Believe it or not. Believe or not to believe. You're free to believe. It's up to you whether to believe or not, is how I would say that. Now, I think it's wise to follow more clear information than uncertain leads. Yeah, if you're with Tamori, you can definitely bring the tools. So what happened? For some reason, Tamori did something funny. The killer himself maintained an alibi that Tamori delivered the tools to the killer in the light night hours. Now, wait a second, but Kizuna-chan didn't change her mind? There has to be a reason to decide and help the killer. You said she was an accomplice, but you can't actually get on the level of an accomplice. What the accomplice did was just deliver the tools. I need this thing. Please bring these for me. Is not enough excuse. What about it? If Tara's the culprit, there's nothing strange about that, right? No. That is not... I think Katana's the killer. Katana's the killer. Katana's the killer. I think Katana's the killer. Yep. Tara, I'm sorry. I hate to doubt you, but no matter how much I look, there's only you. You too. Everybody, this is too much. Why are you also anxious to turn me into a bloody killer? You don't even have an alibi. The only difference between you and me is that I made a mistake once. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You got an appropriate stick, so you're hunting witches, you villains. Apologies, but it's a situation that doesn't seem to be as bad as it is right now. I'm the culprit only because there's no certainty at all. Tara's the culprit. Is that really it? As Tara said, there's only one thing everyone is suspicious of her. There's only one reason everyone is suspicious of her right now. It's just a witch hunt. There's no solid evidence. Let's think about it. Was there any more convincing evidence? Is Tara telling the truth or is she lying? Flash anagram. Okay, is this going to be translated or not? I feel like it's not going to be. Yep, but this is not translated. Okay. I mean, I'll just guess. There's nothing else I can do. It's you for sure. Oh, I was right. And then it's this guy for sure. You. Come on. No, it's you. Okay, yeah, and then it's you. So easy. I just guessed. I don't even know what that says. Come to think of it, there is a clue about the culprit's identity. Oh? A clue to the killer's identity. Is that true? If you knew that, why do you mention this now? Sorry, I just remembered. And even though it's a clue to the killer, I don't know who it's pointing to. You don't even know who it's pointing to? Then how do you know it's a clue to the killer? The dying message, I guess? Maida, what you're referring to is the dying message, is that correct? Right, some may not have seen it, but next to Tomoru's body, there were some letters written in blood. A dying message, is it? Something like a cryptogram that points to the killer before they die. Yeah, everyone take a look at this. XXXX. This is the dying message presumed to have been written by Tomoru. Hey, this is it? I've seen this blood spot too. I just thought the blood splattered in a strange shape. It actually looks like that, but if there's any meaning in these letters. This is a clue to the culprit, right? I think it's a good idea to decipher the dying message. Rather than being suspicious of Akane while catching the thoughts of it. You're not acting like a killer though. You're like, it seems like you're trying to actually move this along. While Uehara seems like he's trying to like divert things from himself. But what does this say? Do we have any letters? XXXX. XXXX? 4 X's? I don't know what this means at all. I think Kinjo or Mikaru may know. Isn't this a professional shop? Basically, the dying message refers to the culprit more directly than you think. Because it's just before she died, the victim cannot afford to waste her time thinking. In other words, if you think a little, it has various meanings that will need to be solved. Don't think very hard, just change your perspective a little. 4x, does that number have any meaning? Actually, it doesn't seem like the last X is a little big. It seems to have a different meaning from the first string. What is X? The meaning of X? You guys are really stupid. What, does that mean you understood the meaning of this dying message? Of course not. There's nothing to understand. It's not a password, it literally points to the killer. What did she mean by that? What did she mean by that? It literally points to the killer. Was it an arrow that was it just a fucked up arrow? That was pointing to the right? What's on the right? What? That was it. What do you mean literally? Well, first of all, if you don't know even after telling me this, I'd rather be executed and die. I'm sorry, Makar, I didn't live up to your expectations. No way, however you look at it, it only reads X? Katakana. Okay, we're doing this. So, in katakana, that's me 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 me. Right? Ayame? Ayame is the only one with a me in her name. Huh? Katakana word. Think about it. Katakana is... Wait, katakana? Obviously this dying message looks like the letter X at first glance. It's because there's a lot of blood, but from a different perspective, it looks like katakana. Hang on. I'm literally like spinning my head around the screen. What other katakana is this? A letter that reads like an X in katakana. Meh. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The most familiar one I can see. No, there are many other things you can think other than that. In fact, Japanese can be read differently enough, even if it's written a little skewed. It's not strange for a person on the verge of dying to writing in their own blood, but it would be weird if they would write straight. Then what were they trying to draw in the end? The middle X and the third X, the alphabet X, have long vertical strokes. If the X is tilted. What are you talking about, little bro? Hang on. The X is tilted, it becomes where the vertice stroke is long. If it's long, to, E? I don't know, man, I'm getting a headache. No way what this word means. When I think of as katakana, the first X is almost similar to me. I'll give one more hint. The third X has a symbol that seems to be hiding, see? It seems I can't see anything like that. The third X. This? Is that the Tsunsun? Look closely. It's buried in the big X. Oh, this? Because there's this drop of blood in that exact location. I don't know. I guess if you say so. Allow me to raise a question to you. Kinjo, your reaction seems to be your reaction after knowing the correct answer? At one point, after listening to Mikara and Kurokawa's word, I came to realize it. Mikara also has a mainer name, but she's obviously not the killer. It seems like there are some other people who solved it besides me. Died in the of the dying message. If you think of it as katakana, the first letter is me and the last one has a hidden symbol. The second and third are letters with long vertical stroke. The candidate are E and T. I mean, I have a list of their names here. Ayame is literally the only one with a me in her name, but she doesn't have an E or a To in her name. Who has an E or a To in their name? Inori? Otori? Tomori herself? I don't know why she would write her own name. No, is that a Tsunsun, right? So we're saying it was probably Do. Medo? Oh! It's a Kane. It says maid. It's written maid. It says maid. Wait. Wait. Is it... There's no way it's actually a Kane. Really? Wait. When I think about this combination, I think I can see the answer for sure, but... Should I believe this answer? No, I have no choice but to accept the result. I have to do it. The person this dying message points to the person's identity. I have to admit it. I mean, it says... Hang on, I'm looking at my recording again. I want to see if I can read it. I think it says maid. Meido. Good thing I know Japanese, otherwise I would be really annoyed with this, huh? Okay, hang on, I'm looking at my recording. I just want to look at the... Okay, I kind of see it. If I really blur my eyes... Okay, yeah, I see it. It says maid. Is Akane really the killer? I'm just doing it. The meaning of the dying message. As Kurokawa mentioned, this was a text that could be read as it was in katakana. However, it just looks like the letter X because it's a little bloated. Mada, do you know the meaning of the dying message? Well, Kurokawa, Mikaru, and Kinjo's hints set on. I'll explain to you guys from now on. I don't know. First of all, the first letter, as everyone guessed, is Me, and the second one was E. The third one was Do. It was To with Tsuntsun. And I don't know what the fourth one was. There's just a big X for some reason. Meh. This was easy to understand, but even if you look at it, you can confuse it a little. But an X, right? I think the second letter is probably E. Yeah. If you use the vertical stroke a little longer, it overlaps the horizontal stroke. It has a similar shape to Meh. And the third letter, it's pretty hard to recognize, but I was able to guess based on Kinjo's voiceless remarks and the first two letters. Yeah, it's Do. Maybe this one was supposed to be Do? This one is close to E if you write a longer horizontal stroke, while have the same shape as X. I'm still uncertain what the last big X means, but yeah, same. But once you look at it this far, it's true that one word comes to mind. Maid. There's no way she's the killer, right? That's fucking crazy. She was so suspicious. Did I get owned? Because it felt like she was acting so suspicious. And she was like one of two people to not have an alibi. That she couldn't possibly be the killer. But I still don't think she's the killer. I don't accept it. Ultimate maid student, Tera Akane. Eh? I don't think she's a killer. I think this is bait. I don't think she's a killer. I don't think she's a killer. I don't think she's a killer. Man. Yeah, real good thing I know how to read Japanese. Otherwise that would have been really annoying. And that would have been really cheap also. Meido. There's no way it's Akane, right? There's no way. Okay, I'm gonna end here anyway. Okay, thanks for watching. See ya. Man.